It's Tuesday night. It's 5:17. We're live for a live cooking class. We're going to be making cream cheese chicken enchiladas. There's a ton of different variations to this recipe. We're just going to throw it together and get it on in. A lot of the recipes I'm going to be talking about tonight come out of my cookbook, so if you haven't purchased this yet, it's down below. And so like things like, back here I have a whole plate of homemade sourdough tortillas. That recipe's in here. We're going to be making red enchilada sauce. It's also in here. So anyway, if you haven't grabbed this yet, the link is down below. All you do is click it and pay, and I ship it to you. I also wanted to say thank you so much, you guys, for hitting the thumbs up button. Because since people have been hitting that thumbs up, our views of my cooking class have doubled, okay? In some cases tripled in the last 3 weeks. So it does make a difference if you guys hit the thumbs up. I do not make a penny for my channel in case you're new here. My channel is not monetized. By hitting that thumbs up button, you're just simply passing the video on to more of the public so they can see how easy it is to cook from scratch. And there are options out there for meals that kids actually like. So if you wouldn't mind, hit that thumbs up button. Even if you're watching today, it helps to hit the thumbs up button. It's been getting the videos out and I really appreciate it. All right, so super easy. This is going to come together rather quickly. So we're going to go ahead and preheat the oven to 350 degrees. And then I'm going to go show you guys my project for today. Hey, Kylie. Look at this. Oh, here comes William. It's way too early for milk, buddy. Okay, look at all that. That was today's canning, you guys. I had help. Thank you so much to Jessica and her local here. They got a hold of me and said, do you want help with it? I said, yes. I have like 300 corn cobs process. So they came for just 2 hours and we got, I think it was 37 quarts of corn and diced tomatoes put up and broth. So that's awesome, okay? Kylie says, hello, hope all's well. Great recipes from your book. I'm really into fermenting my beans and rice because of you. Cannot wait to see how to can fermented beans. Yes, that's another video. I have promised you guys so many videos, but that whole mess you guys just saw kind of took over this week. So it's been rather crazy, but I'm going to get to that, I promise, along with the cream of chicken and cream of mushroom. So those are all still on the list, I promise. The other thing that is super exciting is many of you guys have reached out about trying to get into the music therapy that I've used for my hands, which is amazing, you guys. I've had such breakthroughs with my hands, it's just crazy. And the link is down in the description box. If you're interested, all you gotta do is click the link. If you scroll down, it'll say My Naturopathic Doctor and a link to her main website. Then right underneath it says musical therapy, and you click on it. It's only $50, and it records a 15-second clip of your voice, just talking about whatever you want to. It doesn't really matter what you say. And then, like I said before in my previous videos, it's going to send that over the 9 chords, musical chords, and then you get an email within an hour that states which of your chords are high and low in your voice and how that corresponds to organs and emotions that need to be dealt with. Then you'll get another email right after that one with special music that has been made just for you. And the music has corresponding notes that balance out the ones that you're struggling with, that are, you know, it helps your emotions, and for me, my numb hands. It's been life-changing for me. I have been able to narrow down my hands to feeling overwhelmed or like I can't handle something, which is the body. It totally is literal. Cannot handle something, okay? My hands are going numb. So anyway, I figured it out. I have worked from having to listen to 4 songs down to listening to just 2, because I specified which ones were helping me a little more with my hands. And so anyway, I listened to them today, and my hands have not been numb at all today. They were a little bit numb this morning. I was just nervous about all the corn and getting it all done with the help, but we got it done. There was nothing to worry about. And so anyway, check it out. It's down in the link down below. Let's get to cooking, because that's why you guys are here. But I wanted to let you guys know about that because she texted me and let me know. It's up on the up on her website, but like I said, I left the link down below, so all you have to do is click on it. Okay, So we are going to start with enchilada sauce first. I already have cooked chicken. The recipe calls for a rotisserie chicken. Mine is like I take a big roaster and I cook down a lot of my whole chickens, and then I take the bones out and just kind of shred it, and that's what this is left here. So the enchilada sauce recipe is on page 34. That's what we're going to be making. So back here over into the saucepan, this is pretty much going to come together pretty quick after the sauce made. So we're going to add 3 tablespoons of butter over medium heat in the black saucepan here. There was something else that was exciting that I was going to tell you, but I can't remember what it is now. Oh well, I'll remember eventually. Okay, so that butter is going to melt. And in the meantime, I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of butter in this front pan and also have it over medium heat. Now, I'm going to be sauteing the onions that I like to put in the inside of my wraps. My husband does not like crunchy onions, so I got to make sure they're soft. But if it was just the kids and I eating, I would totally just leave the onions raw in there and just bake them, and they would get somewhat cooked and call it good. So we need half of a yellow onion. So I'm going to add that to the pot over here. What was crazy with my hands is that I ate tons of Russian custard, which I still am eating. It's so good. But I didn't really seem to touch it, and it wasn't until I really started paying attention to when my hands were going numb. And then, of course, the printout from the music therapy between those 2 things, I was able to narrow it down to exactly what emotions I was experiencing as my hands went numb. Just fascinating. So in any event, I'm glad to have an answer, and we're just working on it now. There are a lot of things in life you can't handle, which is the hard thing with having your hands going numb, because you can't handle it. Because there are a lot of things we just can't control. But I just leave those up to God, I guess, and tell myself it's going to be all right. And pull out my music and listen to it. All right, then butter's almost melted. I'm going to go grab my sprouted flour. So if you're wondering why I'm not just going to throw regular flour into this pan back here, it's because there's a lot of new people, so we're just going to talk about this real quick. We want our grains to be properly prepared. And so in that, we need to make sure that we're using grains that the phytic acid and the enzyme inhibitors have been removed. And I have a whole playlist on proper preparation of grains up here on the channel, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check that out. We are going to put 3 tablespoons of sprouted flour into this back pan. Now, there's also another option I'll talk about in just a minute. If you are GAPS, to be able to make the sauce more GAPS appropriate, although we haven't really found a wrap we're happy with on the GAPS diet. So I'm just going to whisk, and then we're going to start adding our liquid. We'll let it cook for just a couple of seconds. If you don't let it cook, your sauce will taste like flour. We don't want that. So the next ingredient that's going to go on in is 2 cups of broth. Now this might look ominous. It's not. This is the fat that you have to strain off of the top of your broth before you can it, and then a little bit of broth at the bottom. So this is going to be a super fatty, nutrient-dense meal right here. It's going to be really filling, which is great. So we're going to whisk that, and I'm going to let it come back up to a simmer. We're going to add some seasonings to this. And our onion is just sauteing over here. It's been gorgeous weather here, only in the 80s, and the garden, like I said, is just popping. Just popping, 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 which is great. I'm happy about that. I need to do another garden tour as well. It's on my list. I actually have a list. I'll show you guys. I keep saying it's on the list, but I promise it is. See? This is a list of videos so far. So I will get to them, I promise. I just haven't come up with for air this whole week because of the garden harvest. Okay, so for spices, 2 tablespoons of chili powder. Usually I use mild chili powder, but whatever you usually use in your kitchen. And actually, you know what? I'm going to go down to 1.5 because last time I made this, my kids said that their lips felt like they were getting burned off. So I'm going to go down a little bit. In fact, they begged me, next time you make this, please don't put that much spice in there. I don't know. I didn't think it was spicy at all, but you know me, I'm the person that's eating a whole bunch of spice while I'm pregnant and burning the taste buds off of my babies while they're still in my stomach. So 1/2 of a teaspoon of, let's see, onion powder. 1/2 of a teaspoon of cumin. There we go. A pinch of cinnamon. I had someone who used to watch the channel, I'm not sure they do anymore, but they used to watch the channel, suggest that I start putting a pinch of cinnamon in my red enchilada sauce, and I haven't stopped since, so it's going to go on in. Just make sure you're whisking this occasionally because it does start to get stuck to the bottom, which is not what we want. Okay, we need 1 teaspoon of raw apple cider vinegar. I'm just going to eyeball it. Half of a teaspoon of honey. I'm also going to eyeball it, and I'm going to whisk. There we go. That was probably more like 1 teaspoon. Oh well. The kids will like it. It'll be less spicy. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat off because this is thickening up really fast. Okay. Onion is sauteing. It's not quite soft yet. Okay. So then to the back, all that's left is to add some tomato paste, which is supposed to be 2 tablespoons. Now this is where you could totally alter this recipe and use, I think it's about 2 cans of tomato paste that thicken the enchilada sauce. And you sure could use like cabbage leaves as a tortilla. I'm going to leave this off of the burner, so I'm going to be a little bit out of the shot of the screen right now for you guys to see, but I'm just adding 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, which is about 1/2 of a can. Anyway, you could do two jars of tomato paste to thicken this and go ahead and skip the sprouted flour in the beginning. Still turns out delicious. And then use like cabbage leaves or something like that to roll your stuffing into. It would be delicious. Like a stuffed cabbage roll, Mexican style. Okay, so that is done. Push it over there. The onions are almost done here. Not really though. My husband would say they need about another 30 minutes. Alright. We're going to go ahead and start our mixture. So this is 4 cups of chopped chicken. They're going to be filling like 12 or 13 tortillas. So we have 4 cups of chopped chicken. We're going to do about 12 ounces of cream cheese. And this is my homemade Chev goat cheese. It's soft cheese like a cream cheese. So I'm just going to use 1.5 bags. Once again, all approximate, obviously. I'm not measuring out to the ounce. But you can use cream cheese, which would be about 1.5 blocks of cream going in here. 4 ounces of sour cream. I'm going to eyeball that too. Okay. So 4 ounces of sour cream, and we need 4 ounces of green chilies. I buy this brand from Azure Standard. They have a really good deal on it. In case you guys want to check that out. Our local store does not sell organic diced green chilies that are canned. You have to buy non-organic. And spicy peppers are one of the items on the Dirty Dozen list. If you're familiar with that, they get sprayed a lot. Oh, I love the smell of green chilies. So a 4-ounce jar, okay? I'm going to stir these onions so they don't get too sauteed on one side. If you're just jumping on, we've made a whole mixture and the oven is preheating at 350 degrees in case you missed the oven temperature. So we're just going to stir this up. The goat cheese was softened, so you're going to want to leave your cream cheese out on the counter and let it kind of soften before you make this meal. It's got to be able to get mixed with the chicken. So I'm going to kind of like evenly coat it through there. Okay, and then I'm just going to sprinkle it with healthy salt. So we're looking for colored salt, pink Himalayan salt, real salt, Celtic sea salt that's gray, all good options. Salt brings out the flavor in absolutely everything. So I'm just going to add a little bit there. I'm going to sprinkle it again here in just 1 second after it's been mixed. Okay. That's it. We're going to go ahead and turn off the heat. Those onions are starting to turn brown. And I'm going to go get a pan and we're going to lard it on up. So we're going to be using lard tonight to cover our pan. Other great options could be like beef tallow, duck fat, goose fat, coconut oil, butter, anything that's a semi-solid at room temperature except for Crisco. And the reason why we don't want to use Crisco is that's actually not a stable fat at high temperatures, and so it causes a lot of free radical damage within the body. So we want to use traditional fats that are semi-solids, that do not morph into enemies of the body when they get baked with. I love lard. Some people don't like the taste of lard, but I love bacon and pork and all that sort of thing, so lard it is. I have tried tallow, but to me, I just don't like the flavor. Nothing against the cow. I love beef as well. So we were making the tortillas, and look at this cute little one. So what I told the girls was, well, Mommy will eat a big one, and they'll eat a little one for the baby. So cute. All right, so another tip with making your own tortillas, you guys can see how much these are bendy. It's because you don't cook them all the way. So you're just cooking them until it turns from a dark brown to a lighter brown, and then you're flipping them. Once you start to get these brown spots, it's already started to overcook. So let me see here. A lot of mine I really watched this time. Like this one side's a little bit overcooked, but look at the other side. So it's still flexible. I used to do both sides with the brown spots, and then you can't bend them. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and fill the center of these. Now these are homemade, so I'm not going to plan on rolling them per se. I'm going to do them more like a taco. And I need a little bit of, a little bit of onions here. You could also saute up some garlic and jalapenos, but my kids aren't huge garlic chunk eaters, so I'd rather just leave it out than have them pick it out and put it on their plate, because then it all ends up going to the chickens. So anyway, I just smush it, and if you guys have watched my channel before, you know it looks more like a taco. Still tastes really good. But my tortillas, I've never really gotten them to be nice and thin and huge before. And so I just work with what we got. And once again, I'm making homemade tortillas because we're trying to make sure that that flour is properly prepared. And these are sourdough. You could also buy sprouted tortillas if you wanted to. Those are available in a lot of health food stores. My local health food store does not sell sprouted tortillas, unfortunately, and neither does Azure Standard. At least the last time I checked, they did not. Oh, I know what I was going to say. If any of you guys know or have had experience with a tortilla press that's electric that you plug in that's not nonstick, leave me a link down below, because I think that would really help get them nice and thin as well, but I don't want to use nonstick. sneeze coming there. It's been raining a lot here, so there's been lots of mowing and like kicking up of the molds and allergens from the weeds in the grass around. And then what we're going to doing is this is just going to get put together. And once this whole pan is full, then we're going to cover it in enchilada sauce. I've had a conversation with a lot of people lately, and it's the same conversation with a lot of moms, and they say, you know, my kids are picky eaters, or my kids don't like what I make, or some of them like it and some of them don't, and it just feels like I have a cafe open. So I would just encourage you guys, those you moms who are in that position, that it's okay if your child makes the choice not to eat. I know that sounds mean, but you are not a cafe. You are a mom providing nutrient-dense foods, and as long as it's not something that's, you know, really repulsive, it's a delicious home-cooked meal, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with that child saying, you know what, I'm going to pass. Okay, well, we'll see you at the next meal. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of moms that spend a lot of their lives trying to run around and appease all of the children and all of the tastes of the children. And life is full of lots of things that you may or may not like. And sometimes you have to make that choice. I'm either going to eat this and enjoy it, or I'm going to go hungry until the next meal. And that's okay. Because most likely the kid will be back in like 10 minutes asking for the food that they just rejected. Because I tell you what, if I had somebody in my kitchen who was willing to make me fermented pickles and pizza for every single meal, right now I would be all over that. So just remember that. If you had somebody that would do it for you, you would do it every single meal. I don't like this. This is gross. It's too chunky. It's too cheesy. It's too delicious. I don't want to eat it because it's too delicious. I've never heard that one before, but I'm sure there's a mom out there that has. So this is full, okay? So I'm going to whisk my enchilada sauce. And we are going to pour it on over. It ended up a little bit of a different consistency because of all the fat I put in it, but it's going to be delicious. This is going to be such a filling meal. You could serve this with refried beans. I have that recipe in my cookbook as well. That's an Instant Pot recipe or a overnight slow cook recipe. Both good though. Okay. We are covered, and then we're going to take some shredded cheese. This is organic, mild, I think, cheddar. You could use sharp too. Okay. First pan is done. This is going to go in a 350-degree oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. Everything is cooked in here, so we're just looking to melt everything together. I'm going to grab one more pan and finish putting together these last tortillas back over here. I don't know if they're going to fit in here, but we're going to give it a shot. It's one of those smaller pans, you know. All right. If you're just jumping on, we're making cream cheese chicken enchiladas. And if you wouldn't mind hitting the thumbs up button while you're here, it really helps to get the videos out. Since people have been doing that, we've had like double the views on these videos. And as I said before, I don't make a penny, but the goal is to get these videos out to more people so they can see that we can make food from scratch that's delicious and that's kid approved. So if you would help me with that, that'd be amazing. Hit that thumbs up button. it does do a lot. We went from about 150 is what I usually get, 150 views per cooking class. And some of them are up over 300 now from the last couple of weeks. So it does make a big difference. Whoa. I'm just going to keep on filling until I run out of filling. And then we'll keep the rest of them for like eggs in the morning. We can do eggs in here with some breakfast sausage or something like that. It has been I'm going to be so happy to go to bed tonight because it's been such a long day. And I could have never gotten it done without our friends' help coming and helping me with the corn. It just feels so good because I put up as much corn as I wanted to this year. Even though I had already told myself that I probably wasn't going to be able to put up that much. My goal is always 50 quarts of corn for our family. And we're going to have that. So I'm super excited that they offered to come help me. It means a lot. And it got my goal accomplished, which is so cool. Okay, so now we're down to just a little baby one, okay? Because I have just a baby amount of stuffing here. It's going to be a well-stuffed little enchilada. Oh well, look at that cute little thing. So cute. Okay, we're going to slide these down, cover them in the remaining sauce, add the cheese, and slip it into the oven. All right. There we go. Everybody's got a little bit of enchilada sauce. Everybody's got a little bit of cheese. So yummy. If you had like a little bit of parsley, or not parsley, cilantro, you could put it over the top. That'd be delicious. Okay. This is ready to go in the oven, and this will probably be our lunch for tomorrow. I usually try to make a little extra so that we have a lunch for tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to set a timer for 25 minutes so I don't forget. Whoops. Okay. So I've had something happen, which I want to talk about, even though it's very, very controversial. Don't hate me for it. It has to do with canning, and I know there's a lot of people that are, there's like two groups. There's like strict government regulated recommendations, and then there's the non-ones, and I'm somewhere in the middle. Depends on what we're canning. But I just wanted to show you guys something that has kind of woke me up a little bit, and you guys can take it however you want. So let me go grab 2 jars from today. So for any of you guys that are like not new to nutrient dense meals, you guys have seen like the 2 egg yolks, the light pale yellow one and the dark orange one, right? And the dark orange one's nutrient dense. Or livers from chickens that have been in confinement versus chickens that have been free range, right? Free range ones are like a dark purplish, reddish color full of nutrients, whereas the chickens that have been locked up is really, really pale, okay? So let me show you these 2 jars. These are both sweet corn from today. Okay. Let me just turn it this way. Just to make sure. One of them is definitely darker than the other. You guys can see that, okay? So, this one is pressure canned. This one is used, or canned, using an Amish method, which is water bathing everything. This completely blew my mind. But it started with diced tomatoes. Let me show you that. Got one, hang on. Watch this. Canned, pressure canner, Amish. okay? So, that's all I'm gonna say, because I know it's a very, very controversial subject. But what happened was today we had like almost 50 jars of corn that needed to be done. And I only have one pressure canner. So I can only do 7 at a time. And so I was like, well, I've never followed the directions for the Amish canning on the canned corn. I'm gonna try it. And so I brought out my 2 huge water bath canners that can hold like 10 jars at a time. I did 20 of them all at once. And I just wasn't, I guess I was not expecting that. Like at all. This one looks like it got cooked to death. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I respect everyone's decisions on however they want to properly prepare anything. Especially when it comes to canning, everybody has their own opinions and their own like level of where safe is. I've just started exploring other means because I started to think about, like, you know, every now and then you'll hear these threats of people losing power or whatever, or people lose power for a long time, for several days, you know, because there's too much demand on the power grid because of everyone running their air conditioning or something like that. So I began to start thinking, if that would happen in the summer, and if I have all this produce coming in from my garden, how would I pressure can over an open fire? You wouldn't. Fire is like way too uncontrolled for you to get the proper pressure. You'd have jars exploding in there. It would be a total mess. So then that led me down thinking about how the Amish do it. And there's a channel up here on YouTube that I love her. I love her to death. It's Make It Make. And she did a whole series on the Amish and the Amish community she's involved with and how they prepare food. And then that led me down thinking more and more about, like, the more you cook something, the more acidic it gets, which acidity in food, you try to balance that with alkaline to maintain a healing environment. So anyway, I just have a lot of things I'm thinking about. I have been doing some of these methods on other food items for years, just because it's easier and it works, and they've been doing it for hundreds of years. Preserving applesauce the Amish way, that's actually still on the internet. If you type in open kettle canning applesauce on DuckDuckGo or an alternative site that you can look into things, it'll come up and talk to you about how they used to do applesauce. That was the way they used to recommend it all the time. So anyway, I just wanted to show that because it can get somebody thinking maybe, and if it helps you at all, go check out that channel. There's a lot of information on there on the exact of everything, how you do everything, and it's so much easier than what you could ever imagine. And like I said, this will be my 3rd year doing this. It's my first time trying it with corn, but I've done diced tomatoes, I've done tomato sauce, I've done applesauce, pear sauce, apple butter, pear butter. What else have I done that way? Lard is usually done that way. Trying to think. There's a lot of things into my pantry that what I'm trying to say is I've been doing this for several years on a lot of things. And it turns out okay. So anyway, take it at your own risk, try at your own risk, but just know that I have tried it and I was not expecting, I've never done it side by side before. So anyway, that was crazy. But anyway, we're going to taste test the 2 of them. We're going to open up a recipe that has calls for 2 quarts and taste one and see if this one tastes sweeter than the one that was pressure canned, because that will be really interesting. But I've done green beans this way too. So in any event, that's what I did today. And so my day was definitely full, but I was so grateful for friends that came over and helped. I'm going to be water bathing some tomatoes later after mine are done in the garden. Yeah, mine are, well, I had a whole bunch that were due, that ripened inside the garden. And so I've put up probably, well, let me check, it's right here. I've put up 29 quarts of diced tomatoes right now. But I had a bunch of tomatoes that were low on the vine that I was waiting for them to get ripe, and a chicken got into my garden and helped herself. So, and chickens don't like eat like a whole tomato and then move on to the next plant, for those of you who don't have chickens. they just peck like 3 or 4 gigantic holes inside your produce, and then they move to the next one. So there was probably, I don't know, I threw a bunch out, so probably 10 quarts out there worth of whole tomatoes that were destroyed by the chicken. So that didn't make me very happy. But we just got to do some more watching on that. Sounds like my 2-year-old. Yeah, that's true too. William isn't a big like slicer eater. He'll go in and like clear out all the cherry tomatoes, but he doesn't typically touch my big slicers. So anyway, that's that. And yeah, I don't know if we're gonna have a live next week because next week my Azure Standard order comes. So it really depends on if that happens or not. If it happens on Tuesday, then I won't be here. But I will know on Friday. So I will post a pre-scheduled event Friday or Saturday at some time if we're gonna have a class. And I'm gonna pick one of those videos off of the list and get it done this week and get it up for you guys. Tomorrow we're gonna pick more sweet corn. It's gonna be corn for us to eat fresh. So that won't be any preserving. And I think I'm gonna have a break, maybe, on tomatoes coming into the house for a little bit. I do have 97 tomato plants out there, so a break is kind of like, you don't want to say it too loud kind of thing. But anyway, I think I'll have a break long enough to at least do a garden tour. That would be nice. And we'll see if I can get a second video out other than that one. But I will be working on it, and I'll get something out to you guys, and I'll keep you guys posted on the class for next week. And as always, if you have any suggestions for any topics on videos, let me know. I'll add it to my list, and I will eventually get to it, I promise. Right now it's just crazy. In fact, next weekend we are, I can't use that word, so we are rendering chickens next weekend. And so that will be a crazy end of the week next week. So anyway, we'll just have to see how it goes. But I'm hoping to get some more videos out this week for you guys. So stay tuned. Thanks for jumping on. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button on your way out. And we will see you guys hopefully next week. All right, you guys take care.